Hello and welcome to Cadillac Chats with Studio for Pilates. Natasha Loeffler-Little is behind the camera today, and with us we have
Bill Herndon, EJ Madriaga.
Great, thanks guys. So here's the deal. Today we're talking about men and Pilates, and I thought we'd start with how you originally came to Pilates. Bill, why don't you share your story with us?
Well, I came to Pilates about 13 years ago. I was doing Ironman triathlons, and I had a coach and said my hips were extremely tight. And we thought I could get a little bit faster at the races if I had looser hips. So I went in the phone book, I looked up Pilates, I found a Pilates student, I went there knowing nothing about Pilates, and I started taking Pilates. My next race, I was an hour faster as a result of doing it. Plus, my body felt much better, I wasn't in as much pain, I was much looser, it was much better, and I was really surprised.
So you took a risk, not knowing anything, you just gave it a try.
Yep.
And you ended up with hard data.
A lot of hard data, and I felt better. That was the thing, because I realized that, and then later in my life, so I've been doing this now for over 13 years, just because I could swim, bike, and run didn't mean that I was in good shape. It didn't mean I could, get out of bed and walk around. I mean, I was very stiff and sore, and the Pilates made me much more mobile in my body, made me feel just better overall.
Yeah.
And so I eventually did several other Ironman races, but then I decided to do Pilates just so that it would benefit me physically for the rest of my life.
And you became a teacher.
And I became a teacher. and I never, when I retired from the police department, I never planned on becoming a teacher. I had all these other plans. And I took the teacher training program because I wanted to learn how to use the equipment for myself and maybe my friends. And when I completed the program, I found that I kind of enjoyed working with people. And in order for me to learn more about it, I had to teach it. And now that's been, 4.5, 5 years, EJ? And, I continue to learn every day, and it's a fun adventure.
That's awesome. And so EJ, clearly not the same age as Bill.
No.
Clearly wasn't what you were running Ironmans.
It was not.
And so you have your own story of what brought you into Pilates. How about you? How did it start?
So my senior year, I jumped extremely high for a rebound and landed on someone's foot, and that's when my ankle just, it wasn't broken. It was definitely really bad, so I talked to my family friend, which is Catherine at the time, and she had done some reformer work with me and to kind of strengthen back my ankle, and I came back during the middle of my season even stronger. And so I was just like, okay, what is the formula that you're using on me, or like what did you do? And all of a sudden I found all these little imbalances that my body needed. Like, wasn't using my core when I was lifting, was very tight through my hips, and still to this day, yes, but I'm a lot looser. I was a lot more agile as I did Pilates and stuff like that, so.
That's awesome. So similar to a lot of dancers came to Joe Pilates back decades ago, you had an athletic injury that you found Pilates was able to help you rehab. But then it also sounds like, you also had hard data, which I love as a data person myself. And I think for our male listeners, that's typically one of those components that you're looking for, is like, show me that it works.
Right. It definitely works.
It definitely works.
It definitely works.
And what I think you've also captured, EJ, is that sometimes the work of the Pilates session isn't just in the hour or the 55 minutes that you're in the studio or you're doing your movement, but having that greater awareness as you're lifting, jumping, lunging, rotating on wherever you are, whatever kind of sport you're doing, or possibly chasing kids or something practical in everyday life. But it definitely helped you increase your awareness.
Yep.
That's awesome. Sure. And then what made you decide to take that and then become a teacher? Because
I actually did, for my senior exit project, I did athletic training. And that's when I spoke to Catherine, and she's like, hey, I'm teaching this foundation program. And I kind of just put my foot through the door, and I was like, you know what, let's do it. And then
so you took another risk, like Bill. You
just
said, I'm just going to do it.
And it was like, you know what, let's see what this has to offer, and look where I am today.
That's awesome.
And so it's great.
Great. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate your time, and thank you listeners for listening.
Yeah, thank you.